played well to get here. You've played some fantastic players. You know what to expect. So do what you have to do. You know, it has been a good tough couple of years or so, and and when obviously that bullseye went in, I was just like, oh, thank God, probably the best shot I've hit all year, and it's when I needed it the most. Well, I honestly thought, right there and then.
Yes.
I thought, right, I'll show you. And that was it. I just remember looking at him and thinking, right, you got that strong opinion, I'll show you.
Hello and welcome back to the MODUS Super Series channel here on Pluto TV. This is a tungsten talk with a difference, more so that is a champions talk. I'm delighted to be joined by former World Youth Champion and of course Series 12 Week 2 winner Keegan Brown. Keegan, welcome. I know you're not a huge fan of talking about yourself, but I promise this will be as painless as possible. I suppose we're here to reflect on your tremendous weekly win here at the Super Series and look ahead to Champions Week. But my first question, I want to just go back to the previous series where you made finals night. It didn't go your way on that occasion. The night was ultimately won by Derek Coulson. No disgrace in that. You had a very tricky group, Andreas Harrison, Steve West. But how does a disappointment of finals night then go on to spur you on for your next appearance here?
It was a weird one. I'm very fortunate to play, you know, a lot of places around Europe and within the PDC, and I thought I could do this. There's only, 100 people in watching. It'd be all right. I've never felt so scared in my whole life playing darts. So yeah, I was quite nervous the first time, and there was a couple of moments I started missing doubles, and all week I've been all right. And then I played Andreas, and he took that 156 out. I always remember it, 156, and I was saying a finish to break him to go 2-0 up, and it just did me. And then I came back obviously onto the boat, and I thought, do you know what? I know what to expect now. So next time, if I'm lucky enough to be asked back, you know what to expect. Qualify. Do what you think you know what you have to do, and then we go from there.
I kind of get the sense as well that the more we go on here at the Live Lounge here in Portsmouth, that to the amateur game, it's just growing in stature, the MODUS Super Series. What does it mean to get to a finals night for players as a whole and to, win a week?
It's the emotion, isn't it? It's the pure drama of playing sports where winners want to win, they don't want to lose. And I find, playing here at the MODUS Super Series definitely helped me this year massively, because it keeps your mind fresh playing darts, and it's the fact that you're playing quality people every single game. Where, 10 years ago, if you put yourself in a group against other people, you feel, oh, I fancy this. But one thing we keep alluding to is the bar between people that haven't got a tool card and people that have got a tool card. That bar is now shrinking, and that's why you're seeing so many, absolutely fantastic dart players getting called up to, the professional to fill in as such, playing so well. So yeah, you're just playing proper good dart players week in, week out. And
your group in week 2 was no different. I mean, when you come through the doors, you were starting in Group B. Again, Steve West, you can't get rid of him. Richie Burnett, Lewis Gurney, Jamie Kelling, off the top of my head there. And do you approach it as if to say, right, finals night? Or can you not afford to look that far ahead? Is the focus got to be on that Group B campaign? Because yes, there's 3 spots out of 5, but it's just so tough that on paper they're all so competitive, every single group, every single week now.
It's weird because every time I come in, I just think, just win. Treat it like it's a knockout competition. Don't put all your eggs in 7 baskets. Just put them all in one and go out winning every game. Because you get to a point where you start looking at tables, you start looking at points and legs, and do complicate. Just go out there. If you win, you win, and if you keep winning, you're always going to qualify, aren't you?
You did, and you did. So keep it simple, I suppose. So okay, let's fast forward to the kind of approach to a Group B campaign, to that of walking through the door on Saturday night. There's going to be a crowd in.
Yeah.
There's no real margin for error. You're against the weekly favourite, I think it's fair to say, Jimmy Van Schie, who was in your group to begin with. So you know straight away it's going to be tough, and you've got to be on your A game.
Yeah, definitely. It was a weird one because obviously our group didn't finish. Obviously, being Jamie's game, it was a winner take all in the penultimate game on the Friday night, and we didn't get out of here until about 1:15. And I thought, you know what? I was buzzing. I was like, just try to get to sleep as quickly as you can, get some rest. And then obviously I woke up, as you do, and I was like, oh, what do I do? And what I used to do before a TV event, I would actually go on the dartboard for 2 or 3 hours, have a break for about 3 or 4, like get something to eat, freshen up sort of thing, and then head to the venue. And I applied that logic. So obviously checked out the hotel like you do, and you know, thankfully there's a little pub just around the corner. I literally went in there for about 3 hours thinking, right, it's no different to how would I approach a World Championship game or the UK Open, you know. I need to go back into that sort of form. So went in there, practiced my finishing, you know, polished up on a couple, scoring here, there, 25 balls, that sort of thing. And then when I walked in, I thought, you know what, I fancy it. And for me to say I fancy it, you know, it takes quite a lot. So yeah, when I walked in, I thought, right, you've played well to get here. You've played some fantastic players. You know what to expect. So do what you have to do.
Ultimately, you did that. However, looking at events on that stage, as I mentioned there, you had to play Jimmy Van Schie not once but twice in the night, and brings a huge following over. They're loud, they're proud, and you better get used to it in essence, because it can swallow you up if you can't deal with that. How did you go about that? Because stepping onto that stage to play Jimmy, you knew that was going to be the case, that it was like an away match. Yeah,
definitely. Paul Nicholson, you know, my very good friend Paul Nicholson, Paul said, you know, just to let you know, this is what you're up against. And I think that the only thing that I took some sort of an advantage for, I did actually say, look, I've played Max Hopp in front of 4,000 Germans on an Easter weekend, and they booed me so loud that my wife had to leave the venue, went to the other side of the corner and she could still hear them booing me. So I said, if I have to put up with 20 Jimmy Van Schie fans, 4,000 Germans, you know, that piece of cake, absolute piece of cake.
We livened up the kind of non-Van Schie section with a 1-2-9 out there, just casual, take it out, take sip of drink, and it's all very easy. But just how big a moment are things like that, where if you don't get it, the levels then rise from that side of the room, and it's a big opportunity missed, and then all of a sudden you're right on the back foot.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we always say darts is all about timing and taking your opportunities, and I thought, you know, if anything happens, I'm not able to ever come back here and play on the stage, I want to take full advantage. And just that night, it all clicked. You know, it sounds daft. It was a bit of a fairy tale ending, wasn't it? You know, everything I looked at double wise, it went in from the semi-finals. So, yeah, it was brilliant, because you know it shows that the old dogs do got it, and and I can still play this wonderful game.
Old dog, my word, my word, old dog, former world youth champion. Obviously, the winning moment then was fantastic. I mean, and look, to give props to Jimmy Van Schie, he was one dart away from winning the series not too long ago. But here we go, right in the centre of the board. That must have felt very good indeed. All that emotion pouring out of you there, which was great to see.
Yeah, to be fair, it looked like actually my friend Billy, it meant more to Billy by the way he was celebrating, you know, more than me. But no, it was wonderful. I can't really, you know, this is why we play this wonderful game. And obviously there's a bit of me in a minute where just before I get the trophy, I kind of like kneel over and collapse because I'm just absolutely knackered. But yeah, that's why we play sport, because it's that wonderful feeling of winning. And I always cherish it. Absolutely love it.
And Jimmy was really magnanimous in defeat there, a top player. So it must mean a lot to beat someone like that. I mean, he's such a good player on this stage, and he's here series in, series out, as I say, one dart away from winning the whole thing against Jeff Smith last time around. So that's got to kind of give you such a tremendous feeling that I'm not calling you old. I absolutely refuse to call you old, because that is just not on whatsoever. But you know what I mean? That there's life in you, in you, because I know you got a bit emotional, and for all the banter and the Kleenex Brown thing, like I said to you when we worked together for the first time the other week, like I was a big Keegan Brown fan when you won the World Youth, and to see scenes like that, it was really great, really great.
Yeah, it's emotion, isn't it? Where, you know, and I always back myself 100%. But then, you know, if you've got some sort of element wrong with you and whatnot, if you're not feeling well, if you're just not feeling it, you can't be playing the best in the world only being 95% of your game, if that makes sense. And you know, it has been a good tough couple of years or so, and and when obviously that bullseye went in, I was just like, oh, thank God, you know, thank God, that is probably the best shot I've hit all year, and it's when I needed it the most. And yeah, the time was definitely on my side, and yeah, I did get obviously a tad emotional, but you know, when you play darts, you know, like Dave Pallett, for an example, I've played darts with Dave for like 20 years or so. And to see Dave coming back out of, you know, some not good times, and then obviously I've had my struggles, it's just so nice because we've got so much to give to the game still, even though we're not at that elite level. And, you know, for me to win it, it was just, it just gave me so much confidence to say, do you know what, I can play this wonderful game still.
You absolutely can. And after the break, we're going to hear more from Keegan Brown. And we're going to be looking ahead to his rivals in Champions Week as well. More Champions talk after the break. Welcome back to this very special edition of Champions Talk. I'm here with Keegan Brown, the Series 12 Week 2 winner. Before the break, we spoke about that night as a whole. And in this part, Keegan, I want to get your thoughts on looking ahead to Champions Week. When did it dawn on you after you'd got the medal, you'd lifted the trophy, you'd blubbed away with Henry on stage? When did it dawn on you that I've got to come back here and go for the big one?
The next morning. Well, I say the next morning, we didn't get home till about 2 or 3 o'clock from the ferry. But yeah, when I woke up on the Sunday morning, and it was the fact that I totally forgot that I did it, but I actually wrapped the medal up on my dart case, right? And I looked and I was like, it was that sort of Christmas morning feeling. So yeah, it was good. I'm looking forward to coming back Champions Week, practicing. You know, I'm actually practicing in between shifts here, you know, to get as many hours on the board as I can. So it's always good when you can play darts at your workplace.
As we record this, we have 3 rivals to go through to go alongside your weekly win here in Series 12. The first of which was Carl Wilkinson. A fantastic performance, of course, they all are. They won the week. But what worries you the most? Obviously, nothing is going to worry you. But what impresses you the most about Carl Wilkinson?
With Carl, he's such a dangerous player, but he's just never had the exposure that he deserves. You know, he's had a tour card. You know, he's no mug. He plays for a very good Yorkshire county side, and he's played for England. So you can't take anyone lightly with that pedigree, can you?
No, that's proper pedigree, and it's going to be his first Champions Week as well. So, is there extra nerves involved? You don't know yet, I suppose.
I don't know.
But thinking ahead, I suppose.
I think I can't say how other people think, but I'm actually looking forward to it. So I'm treating Champions Week as my World Championships sort of thing. So I'm getting to that. Right, you need to start practicing 1 or 2, 3 hours. Get on the board. Do your finishes, properly go for it, because this is a fantastic chance to win Champions Week and then qualify for the global, and I'm going to hopefully have a very good Christmas before Christmas.
Well, another man you've got to get the better of is another weekly winner, indeed a 5-time weekly winner in the shape of Neil Duff, former WDF World Champion, of course, beating one of our rising stars, Nathan Potter. Bags of experience and wherewithal and knowledge and guile, a wily campaigner that just ticks all the boxes, Neil Duff, doesn't he?
Yeah, you know, to be fair, Neil's a great competitor. You know what you're expecting from Neil, and it's like anything. I don't not doubt my ability, and if I know I go up there, I'll be all right. It's just yeah, it's like I said, just I'm looking forward to it. Neil, we know what Neil can do, and yeah, if it's a good game for me, I'm feel all right actually.
Another competitor is having his first Champions Week. Indeed, you were on commentary duty throughout his campaign, and that is David Pallett, who won Group C and then went on to perform really impressively, it has to be said. 95 average across Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Just getting the better of Jurjen van der Velde. And like you mentioned earlier, Pallett is on a similar trajectory to you in that you were both on the tour performing well, World Youth Champion, Pallett, Euro Tour semi-finalist, Ali Pali appearances, UK Open semi-finals, but obviously has come off the tour and now there's a rebuild with the two of you. There's a lot of similarities, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I've known Dave for nearly 20 years. You know, we played county darts, and obviously he played for Shropshire. I played in the Isle of Wight. We played in the same division for a couple of years. I know what Dave can do. He knows what I can do. You know, and to be fair, I think if you ever looked at our head-to-heads, I think maybe one might be in front of the other by like 1 or 2 games. There's never been a massive margin between us because we respect each other, but more importantly, we know what each other can do on the dartboard.
Obviously, it's pretty well documented about my relationship with Dave now as well.
Slightly biased.
No,
no joke, I'm joking.
I tried so hard not to be. And I felt like I wasn't, to be fair. And I didn't get the... I mean, I'm not having the blame of him not hitting a 9 dart as well. He didn't hear us until he threw the dart. But with Dave as well, he's gone through so much. Obviously, I have first-hand knowledge of it being one of his closest...
Yeah.
Well, he's one of my closest friends. I'd like to think it's the same the other way around. But he's lost his dad. Yeah. He's on the negative side. On the positive side, he's now got 2 beautiful young children with his partner, Bobby. Things are settling down with Dave now. He's had dartitis struggles and he's able to come back and show what he's about. And you were both fairly non-committal actually in the interview after he won it. Believe me, he's got eyes on getting his tour card back, and I have a sneaking suspicion you do too.
Yeah,
but it wouldn't surprise me to see a Pallett Brown final. And one point I would like to make is, how did you feel when Henry is sat next to you calling Pallett Champions Week winner before a dart has even been thrown on that week and you're participating in it?
Well, you want my honest thoughts? What I honestly thought right there and then?
Yes.
I thought, right, I'll show you. And that was it. I just remember looking at him and thinking, right, you got that strong opinion, I'll show you.
You've stopped blinking.
Exactly. It's a weird thing I have. I've got this sort of game phase where if somebody, we were caught up in the moment. You know, I don't hold nothing against Henry at all, but I've got this game phase where if someone says to me, "Oh, well, such and such is going to do it," and I know I'm there, or I can contribute my way to something, and if someone says, "Oh, it's going to be someone else," I just think, right, that's my motivation. I'll show you.
Well, that's the thing as well. I mean, you've got so much experience in this game, despite not being old at all. Don't know what you're on about before the break, calling yourself old. But what would it mean to you? Where would this... Because World Youth Champion, Ali Pali, Grand Slam, practically all the boxes ticked. What would it mean winning a series here?
I think the way I look at it is quite simple, is that's all I'm focusing on at the moment. Forget what I did 11 years ago, forget what I did 2 years ago, or, most recently. I just think, right, just play what's in front of you. Don't worry about, it's all right. Someone says, oh, well, you did this at the Worlds, or the World Youth Championship, nobody's ever going to take that away from me. But, what happens today in darts, tomorrow, you're tomorrow's news. Nobody really cares about it. So for me, to be in the living is literally just focus on Champions Week, and let's see how we go on.
Are you enjoying seeing that lineup progress? Obviously, balancing between playing in between sessions whilst you're in comms. Are you enjoying seeing how that lineup is progressing and just checking out the competition along the way?
No, we know darts is on the day. We know if you've managed to. The thing is, nobody flukes a week. Let's be honest. You have to play very well for a lot of games to qualify, and you can't physically fluke that many games of darts to do that. Let's be honest. And I think so far it's quality. Whoever wins it from now until the end, it's going to be a quality lineup. All I need to focus on is me. And it sounds dark. This is when you become selfish and you just don't care about anyone else. You just want to go out there and bully the board.
Well, best of luck.
Thank you.
I do genuinely mean that as well, because as I say, back in the day, it was great to see you win a week out. I can't wait to see you perform on Champions Week. Genuinely, very best of luck. Thank you very much for joining Keegan and myself on this very special edition of Champions Talk. Stay tuned and don't miss a thing on the MODUS Super Series channel here on Pluto TV. Bye for now.